I'm the youngest of four siblings.My brothers. Chris, 25, John, 27, and Michael, 28, have always been protective of me, especially since our mom passed away when I was 8.My dad, now 53, took on the role of both father and comfort.We had movie nights and father-daughter outings, which helped me feel less alone. Last year, my dad remarried Melissa, who moved in with us along with her daughter Ashley, who's 18. From the beginning, I felt like Ashley didn't like me. She was polite to my dad and brothers but barely interacted with me. Whenever I tried to connect, she'd respond briefly and turn away. After a few weeks, I stopped trying and accepted that we'd just be civil. My brothers weren't exactly thrilled with Ashley either. She insisted on joining our family movie nights, but she chose movies that no one else enjoyed. She even tried cuddling with my brothers, which made them uncomfortable. Chris eventually told her to stop. When I turned 18 recently, my brothers went out of their way to make my birthday special. They gave me thoughtful gifts, like a personalized planner, a signed book series I love, and a custom perfume. When Ashley's birthday came around last year, my brothers gave her $200 gift cards to various stores. Even though they barely knew her the day after my birthday, Ashley confronted me, saying it wasn't fair that my gifts were better than hers. She even cried, saying, "You always get everything, and I get nothing." Then, she dropped a bombshell. She wanted me to stop spending time with my brothers so they'd focus on her instead. She also demanded that I tell them to treat her the same way they treated me. I refused, saying I wouldn't force my brothers to do anything they didn't want to. Ashley wasn't happy, and she must have told her friends and cousins, because soon I received many messages accusing me of being spoiled and selfish. It made me question myself. I eventually told my dad and brothers about Ashley's demands and the messages I'd received. My dad was shocked and said he would handle it. The next day, we all sat down to talk. Ashley didn't deny anything and repeated her claims that she felt excluded because of how close I was with my brothers. My dad sympathized with her feelings but made it clear that her behavior, pressuring me and involving her friends, was unacceptable. Melissa, her mom, apologized and said Ashley was struggling with the changes in her life. She hoped we could forgive her. However, Michael was firm. If Ashley continued to mistreat me, it would hurt any chance of a relationship. My brothers also mentioned how her neediness made them uncomfortable. When my dad suggested therapy, Ashley screamed and refused, but my dad had had enough. He told her she'd need to work on herself or face moving out. Ashley was stunned, since she's attending a nearby college and living at home to save money. The threat of being kicked out hit hard. She accused me of turning everyone against her and even tried to grab me during an argument. My brothers immediately stepped in, and John, who is a lawyer, warned her that if she laid a hand on me, it would be illegal. She backed off and stormed to her room. The next day, Ashley agreed to start therapy. Since then, she has been avoiding us, and I am fine with that. She has even tried to use text messages to get sympathy from my brothers, but they haven't responded. I'm preparing to leave for college soon. Despite the drama, my dad and brothers are supportive as ever, maybe a little too much, acting like overprotective mother hens, which makes me laugh. I'm grateful to have them in my corner. When I was 8, our mother died. My dad, 53, married Melissa, 45F, last year, and she moved in with her daughter Ashley, 18F, from a previous marriage. I wrote about Ashley, who was in tears, making me quit spending time with my brothers because she wanted them to give her more attention. Barely a month ago, she constantly accused me of keeping her from connecting with my brothers and blamed me for everything. We all sat down and talked. I went to college, and Ashley went to treatment, but I know she still doesn't like me. The current issue: I turned 18 a little over a month ago. My maternal grandparents gave me a pair of diamond earrings as a family treasure. My mom used to have them, but she couldn't give them to me, so my grandma kept them until I turned 18. I keep them in a closed drawer in my room. Melissa and Ashley went to a wedding yesterday. Melissa put a post on Facebook, so I knew, but I didn't think much of it. I just knew right away that those were my earrings, even though I know it's wrong to make accusations without proof. I told my dad and brothers on the phone before I went home. Melissa didn't believe me when I called her to explain. She said Ashley had borrowed the earrings from a friend. When I got home, I saw the earrings were gone and the drawer had been opened. I told my dad and brothers on the phone before I went home. Melissa didn't trust me when I called her to explain the problem because Ashley had told her that she'd borrowed the earrings from a friend. When I got home, I found that the earrings were gone and the drawer had been broken. We checked the hallway security camera, which I'd put in after some problems in the past, and it showed Ashley going into my room and coming out again a short while later. I was panicking. Ashley got a call from my dad, who was demanding that she give me my earrings back. At first, she denied everything, but when he said that we checked the hallway security camera, which we'd put in after some trouble we'd had in the past, it showed Ashley entering my room and leaving again a short while later. I was panicking. Ashley got a call from my dad, who demanded that she return my earrings. At first, she denied everything, but when he revealed that we had video footage, she started to defend herself by claiming that I wasn't using them and that she had simply borrowed them. My dad was then barred by her. Melissa was also not picking up her phone. I was thinking about going to the wedding right away when my brothers, who were tired of Ashley, suggested that we go to the police station. We showed the security film, filed a report, and went to the station. Ashley was brought to the police station this morning to be questioned. I was thinking about going to the wedding, but then my brothers told me that we should go to the police station and report Ashley for stealing. I wasn't sure at first, but then I remembered that Ashley had stolen earrings from me without asking. My mother had left them for me. We showed the security film, filed a report, and went to the station. Ashley was brought to the police station this morning to be questioned. Melissa and I stayed at the station. Ashley's family has been calling and texting me, accusing me of being dramatic and embarrassing their family. This is because a lot of the wedding guests witnessed the police officers. Update 3. I hadn't planned to update after my initial post was locked, but I received a lot of messages. Melissa and Ashley were still at the station. Ashley's family has been on the phone and texting me, accusing me of being dramatic and embarrassing their family because a lot of the wedding guests saw the police officers. Let me start by answering the question that everyone wants to know. Yes, I did get my earrings back. They're currently located much safer than before. My brother handled most of the legal stuff, so I don't really know the specifics, but here they are. The price of the earrings is high, and Ashley was in a lot of trouble because my grandparents had them certified and had all the paperwork. Ashley was kicking and screaming the entire time. According to my dad was at the station when he heard about what happened. Ashley insisted she'd borrowed the earrings from a friend, but the police showed her the video evidence, and she couldn't remember who she'd borrowed them from. To make matters worse, she was wearing the earrings in a customized way. My dad told me that Ashley tried to run away when the police were talking to her, and she even bit one of the officers. So she had to stay in the police station overnight to apologize. I thought this was pretty funny, to be honest. I know it's not right to laugh at other people's bad luck, but I'm only human. My dad's wife, Melissa, said she was really disappointed in all of us. She said Ashley's actions were a bit of a gray area, but we could have waited for her to come back instead of making things worse. She stopped. The call was disconnected when my eldest brother asked her why she didn't want the situation to get out of hand. Despite her inability to respond, she insisted that we consider the family. Melissa went on to say that diamonds should be worn rather than kept in a drawer, and that Ashley looked lovely in the earrings. This makes me think that she knew Ashley had stolen my earrings from the beginning and just let it happen. Unfortunately, I can't prove this. Melissa and my dad are divorcing. I hope this is resolved quickly because I don't think she's receiving much because they have a prenuptial agreement. Ashley, on the other hand, has been sending me nasty messages, just her standard fare. I don't read the messages, but I haven't blocked her because we think she will try to contact us again. We want to use this as proof for a restraining order against her. She has left, and the house has been left as is. Melissa is still trying to persuade my dad to change his mind. He said that his children must always come first and that he cannot allow a thief to live in his home. He thinks that Ashley is dangerous to my brothers and me. My brothers and I have blocked Melissa after she tried to get in touch with us. I hope this whole situation is ending because it's become very public. I want to thank everyone who has messaged or commented asking about my well-being. I appreciate all the good wishes. Melissa is still trying to convince my dad to change his mind. He says his kids must always come first and that he can't let a thief live in his home. He thinks Ashley is a threat to my brothers and me. I blocked Melissa after she tried to get in touch with us. I just wanted to say a big thank you for all the nice messages and advice. I've had a few people ask if Ashley didn't know about the camera in the hallway. To be honest, I don't think I ever told her. I thought it was so obvious, I couldn't see how anyone could have gotten it wrong. I also got a few messages asking why the security camera was installed in the first place, since our neighborhood was the scene of several crimes a few years ago. I was often home alone at that time. From the moment I got home from school until my dad returned from work, the house was equipped with a security camera. Some people also asked why the security camera was installed in the first place. Our neighborhood was the scene of several crimes a few years ago, and I was often home alone. I was home from school until my dad returned from work, so I was often home alone. The house had security cameras because my father and brothers were too cautious to remove them. Many Reddit users messaged me after my first post, warning me to be careful because Ashley might try to take anything. I made sure the cameras were working, and I had to block my aunt and cousin to stop them from bothering me. I'm 8 months pregnant, and my aunt and cousin have been giving me a hard time ever since I told them that I'm not going to give up our baby for adoption. We already love our girl, and we don't want to give her up. I've had to block my aunt and cousin because they've been harassing me ever since I refused to give up my baby for adoption. I'm 8 months pregnant, 24 weeks, and since I told them, they've been causing me problems. My partner and I love our baby and we don't want to give her up. My aunt wants me to give my cousin, who can't have children, my baby, though. She's been a mother figure to me and my sister since our mom died. We've always had a close relationship with her. Now, she wants me to give my cousin my child. She can't have kids. She's been a mother figure to my sister and me since our mom died. We've always been close to her, and we've tried to help my cousin with her fertility issues. My aunt is a devout Mormon who attends church regularly. She has a very conservative, narrow-minded view of morality, values, and how to live a decent life. She's also very religious. She believes that a child should have a loving, caring mother, a father who provides for them, and a solid religious foundation. My spouse feels that my child will grow up in our home confused and misinformed because we both have full-time jobs and she is not a Christian. She says that the child won't get the right care and identity because of our different religious beliefs. My partner thinks that our child will grow up in our home feeling confused and misinformed because we both have full-time jobs and other commitments. She says that the child won't get the right care and identity because of our different religious beliefs. She's worried that in such a situation, our child's welfare won't be a priority and that they might choose a bad, immoral path. She thinks that my cousin, who works from home part-time, and her spouse are far more qualified to provide a caring household that is full of religion and morals. My cousin and aunt have moved to a new house, but they don't know the address, and I've blocked them from most forms of communication so they can't influence my medical choices. My boyfriend and I also got married in a private ceremony. My aunt has been more hostile to me than the other. One time she even yelled and argued when she came to my old apartment. One day, she tried to get me to meet her at a cafe near her church so we could talk about the baby, but I told her we didn't have anything to talk about. So, she got mad and started yelling when she showed up at my old apartment one day. She was trying to get me to meet her at a cafe near her church so we could talk about the baby. She persisted, even after I told her we didn't have anything to talk about and that I was keeping the baby. In the end, I had to tell the apartment manager and hide in my flat. It took her about 30 minutes to leave. Also, my aunt has got her religious friends involved, who sometimes leave me angry voicemails and texts. My cousin has been more reserved around me, but she's dealing with a lot of trauma and sadness after her baby daughter died before she was born. She's been going to motherhood forums and posting a lot on social media. I've heard she's been trying to get pregnant through these forums. She's been kicked out of a bunch of groups because of the stuff she's done. People say she's been pressuring other women to give her their kids, and that's really hurt her. My cousin sees my baby girl as a replacement for a dead child. She's waiting for me to give birth because she's really missing her. She thinks that having a child will fix her family. My aunt and cousin both think that I'll eventually give up my child because I'll get too stressed with being a mom. They think that I'll let my cousin be adopted by her husband. My aunt says that I might have another child in the future and says, since we're family, it should be easy enough to get my kid to my cousin, right? My aunt thinks that, since I'm young and planning to go to grad school after working for a bit, it'll be easy, but it feels like my cousin wants to get back in touch with me, like we did before I became. I'm not sure if I'll talk to her again until after I give birth. I want to assess her emotional state and avoid adding to my pregnant stress. I liked her more than my aunt when I was growing up, and she was always there for me during her infertility issues, but her recent actions and thoughts have surprised me. I'm worried about my safety. We got married in secret this year, and now my partner and I are organizing a big wedding next year. I'm not sure if my aunt or cousin will be able to come or be invited, apart from people who are close to them. Apart from my aunt and cousin, I currently get a lot of support from. Since we got married in secret this year, I've been worried about my safety. My partner and I are planning a big wedding celebration for next year, but I'm not sure if my aunt or cousin will be able to attend or be invited. Apart from my aunt and cousin, I currently get a lot of support from both sides of my family. I'm not sure if that support will still be there or how my relationship with my aunt and cousin will change in a year. I've missed some family events because I knew my aunt and cousin would be there, but I don't want to miss out on family gatherings after my baby is born. I'm not sure how things will work out with my aunt and cousin, or what problems might result from this situation. I was raised in a culture that viewed starting a family and having children as a reward for leading a morally upright life. Even if you were truly having difficulties, you were rarely given support. I was born into a culture where having kids was seen as a reward for leading a moral life. If you were struggling, you weren't likely to get much help, and people would criticize you for any flaws. Adoptions were a big part of my church's work, and I think they still are. The birth mothers were often young, unmarried, single, or seen as ungodly if they chose to raise their kids with the church's support. The church put pressure on them and made them worry about their future and what would happen to their kids. These babies were often given to Mormon couples who couldn't have kids or who wanted to do something nice by saving a child and giving the birth mother a chance to get her life together and be a better person. A fulfilling life. I am now very careful about this practice because it scares me. First adoption. My aunt and cousin, who are also active members, and I talked with the local church leader about the issue. After a long conversation, he first thought my worries were due to family arguments and suggested that I seek counseling. We told him about my cousin's false dreams of adopting my baby, who she feels would grow up in a decent household, and how she is still struggling with the trauma of the death of her baby. We also told him about the serious disruption and stress my aunt has been inflicting by feeding into these hopes. I told him about my aunt and cousin's false hopes for my baby, and how they've been nagging me about it. The pastor of the church said he understood because she can't have kids. He said he'd get in touch with them to find out what they had to say. I spoke to him again today, and he was worried. He was worried that I'd stop talking to my aunt and cousin, especially since I moved away, and said they'd like to talk to me. I asked him about what they'd said and told him their actions regarding my baby had influenced my decision to break off communication. He said that because of her health, my cousins. I told him that I'd stop talking to my aunt and cousin, especially since I moved away, and said I wanted to talk to them. I asked him about what they'd said and told him that what they did with my baby had influenced my decision to stop talking to them. He said that because of my cousin's health, IVF treatments are unlikely to be successful. So she talked to a therapist at the church and was thinking about adoption as a way to have a family. I made it clear to him that I wasn't giving up my kid, and he said he understood. He started asking about my personal situation and then recommended that we seek therapy services and try to arrange a meeting between us. IVF treatments are unlikely to be successful, so she had spoken to a therapist at the church and was considering adoption as a way to have a family. Despite what my cousin had been thinking, I made it clear to him that I wasn't giving up on my child. After he understood, he started to ask about my personal situation. He then recommended that we seek therapy services and make another attempt to arrange a meeting between us and my aunt and cousin. I told him that I didn't feel comfortable with that idea. He suggested that I at least give my cousin a call once, and if I was too afraid to do it myself, he would meet with my aunt on Sunday. That was the end of our call. I'll post updates on this site in the coming days, since I don't want to create a new post. I'll also change this one to make updates easier to find. I'm not happy with his response or the pressure he's putting on me to contact my aunt and cousin, even though he says he understands my concerns. I think he's being condescending and trying to pressure us to settle our differences too quickly, especially since he has religious authority and influence over my aunt and cousin.My boyfriend, and I first thought it would be worthwhile to try to get in touch with him when we speak on. I'm not happy with how he responded, and I don't like the pressure he's putting on me to get in touch with my aunt and cousin. He says he understands my perspective, but I feel like he's being condescending and pressuring us to settle our differences too quickly. My boyfriend and I decided to try to get in touch with him when we spoke on the phone again. I'll listen to his response and figure out how to make him take my concerns more seriously. I didn't give him any personal information, and I don't plan to see my aunt and cousin in person. We don't live in Utah, and we've already contacted legal assistance. I've decided to message and unblock my cousin. I told her there would be no discussion about my partner. I'll go through the phone records to see if I can find out more about this. I'll listen to his response and try to get him to see my concerns as more important. I didn't give him any personal information, and I don't want to see my aunt and cousin in person. We don't live in Utah, and we've already got legal assistance. I've decided to message and unblock my cousin. I told her there would be no discussion about my partner, and that I don't want her husband, or my aunt to be involved in my child's life. I told her she should get good therapy if she hasn't already. She still hasn't replied. And no matter what she says, she won't be involved in my child's life, and our connection won't be the same as it was. The birth of my kid and other projects while I heal and take care of her have kept me pretty busy over the last 3 months, so I haven't had a chance to update you until now. I've logged on to Reddit a few times, but my baby is almost 4 months old and I'm 25 weeks pregnant. Time goes by so quickly. She's doing great and makes us very happy. She's maturing so quickly, and I enjoy taking walks with her. I've started my job search and I'm planning to return to work soon. I appreciate all of your best wishes and concerns. I haven't had much time to do much else, but I've logged on to Reddit a few times. My baby is almost 4 months old and I'm 25 weeks pregnant. She's doing great and we're all really happy with her. She's growing up so fast, and I love taking walks with her. I've started looking for a job, and I'm planning to go back to work soon. I really appreciate all your kind wishes and thoughts. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving holiday season. Here's the long-awaited update about my cousin and aunt.My aunt and cousin have been quiet since my last update. In August, my aunt reached out to me from a different phone number after my cousin didn't reply to my text. She asked about my health and if I'd given birth yet. She was really concerned about my babies and my well-being during our short conversation because I cut off a lot of contact. The holiday season is going well for everyone here. I have the latest on my cousin and aunt. They've been quiet since my last update. My aunt reached out in August, after I sent her a text, because my cousin hadn't replied. She asked about my health and if I'd given birth yet. She was worried about my babies and me because I cut off contact with my family and quit my job.My, and told me that they'd been trying to adopt a child through their church, but hadn't been successful yet. She said that was probably because they had just started the process. When I asked about my cousin, my aunt said that my cousin's husband's past would be an issue. When I asked if they had spoken with an adoption agency, my aunt started talking about how the white birth rate is going down and how people are deliberately avoiding motherhood. I hadn't known that. She said it was probably because they hadn't started the process yet. When I asked about my cousin, my aunt said that her husband's past would be an issue. When I asked if they'd spoken to a legitimate adoption agency, she started going on about how the white birth rate is going down and how people are deliberately avoiding motherhood. I hadn't known that. Then she got upset and started talking about ninth-month abortions and whether I still wanted the baby. She's a total pro-lifer. I told her again that I really wanted to keep my child. She went on to talk about how my cousin, who's in her early 30s, was getting older and how her nest was still empty. My aunt really wanted me to, at least, she wanted me to share the joy of having a baby with my cousin, who's in her early 30s, so she could be a part of my daughter's life. I told her that wouldn't be possible because of what my cousin and her husband had done in the past. I was worried that my cousin would try to act like a mother and let her comments take over again. I refused to accept that my aunt thought my cousin was trying to improve herself and had received church therapy. Then, she asked if I knew of any. I told her that, because of what had happened before, this wouldn't work. I was worried that my cousin would try to be a mom and let her words take over again. I refused to believe that my aunt thought my cousin was trying to improve herself and had been to church therapy. Then she asked if I knew anyone who wanted to adopt a child. I said I didn't. And I told my cousin and her husband to be careful and patient while they got ready to have kids, because everyone around them is having babies. My aunt said it was really important for my cousin and her husband to have kids, not just because they deserve them, but also for their reputation. She pushed me on when I might have my next child. After this surprise pregnancy, my aunt told me that family planning was important and asked if she and my cousin could help next time. I got a bit tired of the chat as the call continued and her usual behavior became more obvious. Thank goodness she ended the call before me because she had an event to go to. I like that my sister is there to tell me I might be having another baby, and I've decided to steer clear of the topic of my future family plans for now. After my aunt found out I was pregnant, she said that family planning was really important and asked if she and my cousin could help next time. I got a bit tired of the chat, and the call ended up going on for a long time. Thank goodness she ended the call before me because she had an event to go to. I like that my sister lets me know about any updates to my old church and what's going on with my aunt, cousin, and the rest of the family. My sister said that my aunt was telling the truth about my cousin. Although my cousin still has really bad depression, her general mental health has improved a lot since the worst of it. Not having kids and the tension in her relationship with my sister and me might make her feel really empty sometimes. I just wanted to let you know about some updates on my family.My aunt has been talking to my cousin about having kids, and she's been asking for my forgiveness. She's doing much better than before, but she's still really sad about not having kids. My sister and I are thinking of going to an IVF doctor abroad, but there aren't many options left here. I'm not sure how my cousin feels about that, but she's been asking for my kids to come back. I'm not going to be around for Thanksgiving, but I'm sure my family will be. I'm planning to go back to work after the holidays, and I've already made childcare plans and taken all the required safety measures. All things considered, the future looks bright again. My aunt has expressed her readiness for the grandma life and has taken I'm planning to go back to work after the holidays, as I've already made arrangements with daycare and taken all the necessary safety precautions. All things considered, the future looks bright again. I appreciate your support. If you have any questions about parenting, Mormonism, my family, etc., please get in touch. My aunt has said that she's ready for the grandma life and has shown a strong interest in my cousin's family starting new projects. When we were younger, my aunt also said that because my sister and I lost our mother when we were very young, she would be like a grandmother to our future children. It seems like she's not as excited about us as she once was. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.